Hello everyone, welcome back to Mining Now. We have got this is a part 3 of a 4-part series with Veracio, and we have Dr. Cari Deyell. Deyell, yes. Dr. Cari Deyell, she is the principal spectral geologist at Veracio. Now, we'll also have links to the other episodes we've done with Veracio. We had Michael Ravella on, and we had Mikkel Arthurson on. So check out both those episodes. Cari, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And you're at AME, right?
That is correct. Yep, I was there this morning and heading back there after this.
Is it nice to have a little bit of a break from the crowds?
It's nice. Yeah, it's always good to be there, but it's always good to step away.
Well, I was going to say I was going to thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Then I realized it's also sometimes nice at those events to I got to go somewhere for 2 hours.
Exactly.
So
you're not wrong.
What is it's actually a new title for me, Principal Spectral Geologist. And now the spectral part, I'm not familiar with it. I know all the geologists are,
Yes.
but myself, I'm not. What is the title, and what's just sort of your background?
Absolutely. So, spectral geologist is somebody who specializes or has knowledge about hyperspectral mineralogy, essentially. I don't think we've come up with necessarily a good term for it. There aren't too many people that are sort of specialists in this field. We're always encouraging more to join the ranks, for sure.
So spectral, what is, even in geology, what is that?
Hyperspectral. So it's a type of analysis where
Okay.
you're using hyperspectral technologies, essentially hitting a sample, hitting any rock with a light source and reading the spectra or the resulting spectra that comes off of that.
And then that has been integrated into the Veracio technology, essentially.
That is why I'm with Veracio, and that's exactly what we're doing at the moment.
So is that new? Like when we had Michael on, when I do so many of these interviews, I have trouble remembering what he covered. I feel like he didn't cover much of that. How new is this?
Very new. So
Okay.
we're in testing at the moment and development, and we are launching the product commercially this year.
How do people do it now? Are there giant labs that people will do it? How is the technology carried out today?
Absolutely. So hyperspectral technologies are really well established in mining, in exploration. They've been around for a long, long time, whether it's lab, like benchtop systems in a lab. But there's a lot of technologies that can be provided through remote sensing. All of that is sort of hyperspectral technologies as well. There are handheld instruments that, fairly small instruments that you can take into the field. Those have been around since the 90s. And the scanning part of that is the newer component to hyperspectral data delivery, but it's just an extension of everything that's been done before.
So, okay. So actually, let's maybe back up a little bit. For anybody who hasn't seen the other episodes, just who is Veracio? We'll get some context in, and then of course we'll dive into more of the technology again. So who is Veracio just as a company?
That's a great question. I'm probably not the one to answer this, by the way. So Veracio is a new company. It's under the umbrella of Bort Longyear.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get you to verify all of this information.
Yeah, of course.
So Veracio is a new company. It spun out of Bort Longyear. A lot of the technology comes from the Geological Data Services Division of Bort Longyear, and they've spun that out into this new entity, Veracio.
Right.
Let's talk about our heavy industry tour brought to you by Savannah Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide, and Geograph, solving customer challenges through innovation and design, higher performing parts, engineered solutions, on-time spare parts supply, and high-quality repairs. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsmen.com to be part of Crownsmen's Heavy Industry World Tour. Revolutionize your mining operations with MassPro's engineering excellence. Their engineering talent can transform your mining machinery, supercharge your productivity, and improve your equipment optimization. Your success is their mission, and they're prepared to take your mining operations to new heights by maximizing efficiency, safety, and ore extraction like never before. Head to masspro.com.au for further information. Hey, mining enthusiasts! Registration for CIM Connect 2024 Vancouver from May 12th to 15th is now open. Last year, this convention had over 6,800 participants from 60 countries, with 1,796 delegates, 702 booths, and 320 presentations. Secure your spot and register now at convention.cim.org. CIM Connect 2024, where quality and innovation define the experience.
So where do you come into? I guess what I'm trying to find is that where your specialty and the technology kind of gets plugged into Veracio.
Absolutely. So Veracio is really focused on ore body knowledge. So all sorts of tools and data delivery and software options for people to improve their ore body knowledge at all sorts of levels. So whether it's any tools related to drilling at the drill site, but they're one of their biggest platforms is their TruScan platform. So the TruScan is a scanning XRF system.
Right.
So they already have that technology. And where I come in is we are integrating hyperspectral analyses into the existing TruScan platform.
So it's from a user perspective, it's all integrated into the TruScan, because I think that's the one that Michael Rivella, he talked a lot about TruScan.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually integrated into the system.
Yes. So that is what we're actively doing right now, is integrating hyperspectral analyses into the existing TruScan platform. Yeah.
So I guess I wish I understood it better. So you'll have to sort of walk me through
Absolutely.
it. So the TruScan, okay, without the, what is it called?
Hyperspectral.
Hyperspectral.
Yes.
Without that technology, what does the TruScan technology do now? And then what happens when you integrate it?
Absolutely. That is a great question. So the TruScan platform, it's a XRF scanning system. So in addition, and XRF gives you elemental data, so geochemistry, from your core samples or your chip samples. What the TruScan as a platform, it's hosted on a trailer, essentially. Core is fed into the trailer. Photos are taken. We get dry photos taken, and the core is pushed into the interior of the trailer. And it's put into the scanning bay, and it's scanned. We have a LiDAR scanner, so you're getting a surface profile on the core, and then an XRF scan. So a line scan down the center of each row of core, or each chip bin if we're working with chips, and that is collecting elemental data. Then the core is pushed out, wet photos are taken, and then the next core box can be entered into the system.
And then, so when is your system integrated?
So we are integrating hyperspectral. We have a hyperspectral camera that we're adding into the TruScan scanning platform. So when the core comes into the scanning system, we will be adding another scan pass so that we can collect hyperspectral data in addition to the data that's already been collected.
So what are the challenges of integrating this into the system, or is it just steps that need to get taken over time? Like you said, it's about a year before it's going to come out to the actual market.
So we are at the market this year. We're going to have systems trialing this March, April in the field, and commercial release with some systems hopefully by July.
What's the challenge of integrating the system in?
It's always it's been a challenge. Certainly having the existing platform. So all of the TruScans are operational. They've been in the field. Veracio, as Bort Longyear, has been doing this for many years. So they have working system, working technologies. All that we're doing is, inserting a new technology into it. In terms of the logistics for that, we certainly need to deal with, the mechanics and the electrical constraints. Thankfully, the trailers are tall enough to accommodate the system. We need a certain height above the sample in order to get good optics on the hyperspectral system. But other than that, it really is because they have this system operational and all of that. It's just working out the kinks.
Your partner in technical services, AMPS, have been industry leaders in technical services optimization systems and training since 2011. With a team of over 70 resource professionals, AMPS provides world-class support to mining technical services teams globally. AMPS builds the capabilities within teams on site to maximize results and unlock value in mining operations. With significant experience in operational underground and open pit engineering and geology, AMPS is passionate about delivering value to their clients across an array of professional services. If you're looking to improve your mine site's technical services, visit advancedmps.com or email partner@advancedmps.com today. Orica Digital Solutions seamlessly connects customers' physical and digital worlds so they can readily understand and optimize operations at every step of the value chain, from exploration to processing. Whether deployed individually or as a whole, Orica Digital Solutions technologies deliver intelligence for open cut and underground mines to make more precise and faster decisions. With a complete, timely, and accurate picture, operations can adapt to improve safety, drive productivity, reduce costs, and environmental impacts. To learn more about Orica Digital Solutions, visit orica.com/digital solutions today. L&H Industrial can custom engineer and build from the ground up any heavy equipment assembly or machine that you need for your operation. Their worldwide 24/7 field services network is on the job whenever you need heavy equipment troubleshooting, repairs, rebuilds, relocations, or replacements. And thanks to their specialized design and engineering and state-of-the-art manufacturing and repair services, they are a go-to international supplier for improved components and custom assemblies for heavy industrial machinery. Visit lnh.net to learn more.
When did you join the company?
I joined the company last February.
Okay, so what I love to put people on the spot with this question. But is what's the first week like when you join a company like this? Like
Yeah.
and I'll set it up why I'm asking, because when you join a company, if it's a really established, some of the companies we've had on, it's very meat and potatoes. But when you're joining a technology company, I should clarify, I love the meat and potatoes companies. They're some of my favorite types of companies. But these technology companies that are like, they're integrating services and they're doing acquisitions and there's mergers and new, essentially, inventions are getting integrated into old technologies. It just goes on and on. So you came on, I would imagine, with your expertise already in hand. What's the first week or two like while you're trying to kind of get this all going?
Yeah, it was. It's been exciting. It's been
Yeah.
quite a ride. I started, and I'm working remotely, so that's a whole other sort of added level of complexity to
Yeah.
a certain extent when you're starting a new role and you're working completely remotely.
Yeah.
What I find with Veracio is they have a large remote workforce, so they're very good at disseminating information to all of the people
Right.
on their teams.
So you're not one of just a handful. It's actually a
Exactly.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're equipped to do it.
Yeah. So I spent my first many weeks just learning as much as I could about the existing platform. I
Yeah.
knew I was coming in to work with the TruScan system. So just, bugging as many people as I could to learn as much as I could about, what TruScan does, how we think we can do this, and really just trying to learn the systems, trying to learn exactly, what each piece of this company does.
Did you join the team to integrate the technology? Was that your mandate
Yeah,
right at the beginning?
absolutely. Yeah.
So are you focused on the results that it gets, or are you focused on, where the bolt goes in the trailer? Like how much is your involvement in the actual design and things like that?
Yeah, that is a great question. My expertise is certainly not in the instrumentation in the slightest.
Right.
I have worked in hyperspectral mineralogy for many, many years, but always on the data processing side. So if
Okay.
somebody gives me the data, I know, what we need to do with it, how we can get the best results out of it, how to interpret that data, how to process that data. But I've never been involved really from the start on the instrumentation, sort of building the system from that side, thinking about, the specifications that are needed from the instrumentation point of view, as well as just from the mechanics and the electrical point of view.
Yeah.
So it's been fascinating getting to see that side of the product, from start to finish.
When this rolls out, will it? How do you? I guess with board, there's sort of that advantage of the R&D and that you can test it in the field easier. Is that sort of, or has sorry? I think you already answered this, but has that already happened? Is it already out in the field getting tested?
No, not yet.
Not
No,
yet. No,
not
okay.
yet. Yeah. We are hoping to. We have a couple field trials planned for sort of March, April this year.
So what will those look like? Will that be like a client site or your own facility? What is the setup to then go test something like
Yeah.
this? And what are you looking for out of those tests?
Yeah, that's a great question. So these are client sites. So we're working with some clients that Veracio has been working with for a while now. These clients already have been using the TruScan system, the original TruScan platform, for quite a while. So they're used to the workflow. Their geologists are used to having this, integrated into their workflow, and they have very well established calibrations for their XRF data. And that's a big part of generating the XRF data and the geochemistry. Is there's a lot of work that goes into generating the matrix calibrations, matrix appropriate calibrations, so that the data is reliable. So these clients have been doing that. They've been doing that for quite a while with us already. So that's not a variable in our testing.
Right.
And that's going to be really important, is that we don't have to question what the geochemistry is doing. We are going to be focused in on just making sure that the hyperspectral component to the data that we are providing is reliable. We have the workflows sorted out so that we can do that properly.
So is that the big because the technology has been around for so long and being used, so it's not really a question of if it will work. It's how it will integrate in with everything else.
Exactly. Yeah, we are building. We have custom instrumentation, but there is nothing. Nothing new necessarily about a spectrometer. There's a lot of spectrometers out there, and we know exactly how it will work and how it should work.
Right.
The key is getting the data, transferred from the trailer up into the cloud, so we can deal with the processing, and then getting those cloud-based processes in place,
Right.
so that everything's running smoothly. We're also developing our own internal software and mineral identification algorithms, so that we can take the data and transform that into mineralogy and mineral outputs.
Is that one thing I asked Michael and I kind of forgot the answer, quite honestly, is with the TruScan system, is it pulling historic data from a site, or is it storing, is it pulling data from everywhere? Is it a giant database of data, that's cross-referencing with other, through the AI systems and things like that?
No, so the TruScan simply collects data from whatever is fed into it.
Right.
So if you're working on a site and you are working on an active drill program, then you're feeding, core that's been drilled directly into the into the TruScan system, so that you can get your elemental geochemistry results, by the next day. To insert that into your logging, into your models, however that gets used. We certainly can scan historic core, but the TruScan itself simply collects the data. It's an instrument that will analyze whatever core is being put into it.
I kind of want to understand again, because some of these we've already touched on with Veracio, but it sort of begs touching on it a few more times, because you've got to, well, one, there'll be different people watching it, but also as people understand the technology more, those questions need to kind of get re-asked to kind of reconfirm things. Is how is it done? All that is getting now poured into TruScan.
Yeah.
All that technology. How was it done in comparison before? Was there 3 different labs that this would go off to? Was there 3 different technologies spread out over 3 different trailers? I'm just trying to get a picture of what they were doing before.
Exactly. So What the XRF gives is it gives near real time elemental data off of your drill core.
Yeah.
The normal procedure is core is drilled, and the core is processed or logged, and the data, half the core, is crushed and sent off to the labs for traditional geochemical analysis.
Right.
That can take quite a while. Unless you have a lab on site, you can be waiting weeks, 2 months for your geochemical data to be returned. So by using a TruScan system, it's not necessarily replacing all of the traditional assays you may do, although you may not need to do a full suite of your traditional geochemical assays, but you get that data in hand, by the next day.
Right.
So you can the geologists on site can use that data to start to make real time calls. Are we going to keep drilling this hole? Are we going to kill this hole? Are we heading towards, or do we need to reevaluate what we're doing? So it's giving the data to the geologists in near real time.
Yeah. I mean, potentially just the amount of efficiency, money, all that can be saved just within a real-time decision, as opposed to let's wait however long.
Exactly.
I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories of stuff being very backed up before.
Yes, things in certain parts of the world. I mean, it is variable, but when you have to wait 6 months for your lab assays, that's significant.
Yeah, I mean, and imagine, 5 years from now, that would just be, it would be like now, Veracio, I mean, you're doing, is it operating globally? Like
Yes.
the
Yep.
TruScan system, is it out on site globally already?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. It's been like I said, I think the system has been operational for several years. They've had great success stories. Currently operating, Australia, Canada, South America, Asia. They're large
And
sites.
the technician brings the unit actually comes on site with technicians, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're doing it on this isn't a rent a trailer system or something like that.
No,
No.
it's a service.
Yeah.
So in some circumstances, if the clients want to be involved and they want to sort of train up some of their own people to operate it, that certainly is a model that Veracio can work with. But certainly it comes with it's really the core prep involvement is important. So it's important to get that piece of the puzzle right. So you need, the technicians on site to make sure the core is dry and clean and it's going to be fed into the systems correctly.
I knew it was an exciting company when Michael was trying to do the interview, and people were trying to talk to him. They were coming into the booth. It was one of the busiest, and I mean, you can probably check the tape and see it. We probably tried to edit it out a little bit, but it was hard to even get him to start the interview.
I
he
can
had to
imagine.
keep going to people like one sec. So you're attending. You're at AME right now.
Yeah.
What is your personal focus when you're at that event?
Yeah, so I'm there basically to provide technical support to the team if there's any questions from clients, potential clients, anyone who wants to discuss the technology and what we're doing with it. There's a certain having somebody there with that technical knowledge and background expertise.
Right.
The people that come and talk to us are often, very technical.
Right.
And they want to drill down into the specifics.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Now I'm going to completely just just take away my responsibility as an interviewer to know what questions to ask, and I'm just going to put it over on to other people. What are some of the questions that you're getting asked? Those technical people that are coming up to you or that the salespeople are bringing over to you to ask, are there maybe 2 or 3 main questions or maybe even things that they're apprehensive going, well, does it do this? Does it do that sort of stuff? Are there any of those things that are sort of you're seeing are consistent?
Yeah, the way people are interested in the system that we are building, because we're doing it slightly differently to what is out there already.
Okay.
So explaining the Veracio approach that we're taking is sort of the focus of a lot of the conversations that I'm having with, the technical geologists, the geochemists, the metallurgists, at that level, people that are sort of have a little bit of knowledge and experience in with hyperspectral data, and just want to understand exactly it is what we're doing.
So is it workflow that they're trying to understand? Is it how they're going to see the data? What is sort of that?
It's mostly so, like I said, there are many different ways that we can collect hyperspectral data, whether it's from, point systems where you're just you have a little handheld spectrometer and you're collecting, one sample every meter, and and then that you can look at that data yourself. Or
That's those little handheld ones you see at like events, like the trade
exactly.
shows people have.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and there's now drone-based spectroscopy, remote sensing, and there are hyperspectral scanning systems as well.
Those are the tabletop ones you said about.
Yeah. So and there's hyperspectral scanners. So and these do exist. I worked for a company previously. CoreScan has a long history in hyperspectral core imaging. There are several companies globally that offer hyperspectral scanning services. What most of these companies do is they're focused on hyperspectral core imaging. So they're scanning the entire surface of the core, and they generate mineral distribution maps from that data. What we are trying to do at Veracio, and the approach that I'm really excited to be taking, is we are trying to address basically two of the biggest challenges that are involved in traditional hyperspectral instrumentation and scanning systems. One is if you're scanning the entire core, that's an enormous volume of data.
Okay.
And it can take a really long time to process that data and get the results back to clients. So just like we have sort of a backlog of, getting geochemical assays back to clients, scanning systems, it can take quite a while just by the volumes of the data that are involved and the high resolution volumes of data. It can take quite a while to process that data and return the results to clients. And another complexity involved with hyperspectral data is it's a way to measure mineralogy. But the nature of the technology is such that it's semi-quantitative. We are only able to identify minerals that are active within the spectral range that we're looking. So with the Veracio system, we are not focusing on core imaging, but we're focused on a direct alignment of the hyperspectral data that we're collecting with the XRF data stream.
I see. Okay. So rather than having this massive, so when you're adding this to the system, you're not trying to create this huge amount of data now that's also now needs to be processed. You're trying to it's almost like a confirmation data.
Well, so we get complementary data. From the two data streams. What the XRFs gives you is it gives you geochemical data. It's measuring elements. So copper, gold, silica, aluminum. You're getting, elemental data, quantified elemental data. Hyperspectral gives you mineralogical data. It really is one of the few techniques that you can use that measures mineralogy. So elements, all of your elements, they get combined in various ways into minerals. So they are complementary in that sense, but you're getting different information. So from the mineralogy, we're understanding how those elements that we're measuring are organized into the minerals.
Right. Okay. I have to say right. Okay, because I believe you.
I'm glad. Yeah.
But then from the questions that you're getting, then I guess I'll just have to stumble through this, and then you can fix it.
Yeah.
From the clients, the people that are asking the questions right now, they've got to understand that this is not this full scan where you're collecting all of this data. It is a complementary to the system that's already in place. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. A lot of people with some experience with hyperspectral scanning, like I said, it's not new. There's a lot of companies that have been doing this for quite a long time. the ones that are knowledgeable, they want to understand what we're doing differently and why. So, certainly very happy to have those conversations, and we're just giving an alternative approach.
Yeah.
And really, trying to hit that spot where we can offer sort of rapid resource characterization.
So will it replace a full version of the technology, or is it still sort of like for the hyperspectral data, it's complementary to the the XRF, right?
XRF, yeah.
Yeah, the XRF. So now could they still do is there still like a full scale version that they might do somewhere else, like at a lab or something like that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Certainly what you get from full core imaging is you get mineral distribution maps. So
Okay.
you can certainly get a lot of information looking at mineral textures, mineral distributions, that you can get a lot of that information from the, like I said, from the distribution maps that you get from full core imaging. There's a lot of work we can do using the combination of the XRF with our narrow width hyperspectral scan, where we're still getting multi-pixel scan, but we're limiting ourselves to the overlap in the with the two sets of data. But then we also get the core photography. So there's a lot of interesting work being done.
So going together, then it should get to the same place.
We're hoping,
Mostly, yeah.
So not hoping. We think we're going to be able to provide by using an integrated solution, we're going to be able to provide the clients with, their elemental distribution, but how those elements are distributed into minerals. And it's that exact overlap or the alignment of those two sets of data, which should provide significant value.
What is the feed? So when you're giving that answer to someone not like me, someone who actually understands everything that you're saying on a deeper level, or even the stuff that you're not saying, they're understanding what's implied with the technology just from having a more in-depth knowledge. What is their feedback? Like what are they saying back when you get that answer?
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly been having lots of discussions with clients throughout this process, getting engagement and making sure that we are hitting the mark.
Yeah.
And the response has been very, very positive.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I think there's a gap in the industry, and we're trying to fill that. We are, trying to be able to provide these results in near real time, and that is the real goal: is reliable, high quality mineralogical data combined with our elemental data, within 24 hours. So that's our goal, and certainly there's a lot of value that is being seen in that.
Yeah, that's sort of and that's the part I definitely wasn't understanding. I was thinking of it as these technologies, again, from my first interview, I was thinking of it as these individual technologies. It's sort of this, like a suite within. I wasn't thinking of it as like they're actually complementing each other to get to the same, whereas individually they would have been like these full-scale testing labs that you would have months later. And I would imagine that, let's say 10 years from now, if you told someone, we used to wait 6 months before we could decide where to start drilling next, I mean, they would have just been like, that wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, and again, it's not always the case, but yes, there are for geochem labs, for scanning platforms, there is variability out there, but when there is a backlog, it can significantly impact the economics of any project.
Just to sort of change gears here for a bit, what made you decide to get into the field that you chose? A field that I didn't even know was.
Yeah. I really kind of fell into it. I was doing graduate work at UBC here in Vancouver, and as part of my research program, I was working on epithermal systems and porphyry systems in South America. And one of the tools that I was introduced to was a handheld reflection spectrometer. And it was the way that I, mapped out the alteration through these systems and was able to trace out the alteration zonation. And I really gravitated towards the applied side of this. I really saw the the value in having this mineralogical tool, on site, reliable mineralogical data. And I was there. I've had worked with some amazing people. I've had some, great mentors in the space, and I just sort of ran with it.
What, because I've been talking to people about, obviously the mining industry on a whole is trying to attract people to it. And I remember in high school, I never even saw, like I came from the mining world on the equipment side. So I grew up in it. And still, even in school, I never heard anything about geology or anything like that. It just wasn't brought up ever and I went through a big high school. It just never came
Yeah.
up. Mining, maybe a little oil and gas was a thing. People like everybody, it was like the default. It's like, well, if I can't get a job here, I'm going to go
Yeah.
up north and work, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Are you from Alberta?
No, I'm from BC. I'm
Oh,
from,
BC.
yeah,
Okay.
Kamloops,
Yeah.
the area, Kamloops
Okay.
area.
Yeah.
But where, so coming out of high school, how did
Yeah.
you sort of lock into that as a career option, or sort of what drew you into it?
Again, I totally fell into it. I started my undergraduate in sort of general sciences. I really didn't know, where I wanted to focus,
I
what
see.
I was doing. And it was, second year I took a geology class, and I really connected with material. With the earth sciences,
Yeah.
it's just not something that had been exposed to.
Yeah, so it wasn't family or anything.
No,
Just
no,
you just went,
not at
oh, that
all.
looks interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did a hard right turn.
Uh, and I'm not expecting you to figure out this
Yeah.
answer right on the spot, but what do you think would attract? Because I hear that from the people that are coming on. They're just
Yeah.
looking. We do an Australian tour. We do a
Yeah.
lot of episodes in the U.S. Obviously, Canada's a big market for us. And it's pretty much the same message over and over. They want people to
Yeah.
join up into this industry, but are having trouble with it. What do you, I guess, one, why? Just from your
Yeah.
perspective, and what do you think would attract more people to join this industry?
That's a hard one. If I could solve that, I think we'd all,
Yeah.
we'd be in a better place. I think the key is really to try to get, again, I mean, going through school, back in the day, I didn't know anything about, geology.
Yeah, so you never heard, like, I never even
No.
heard of it. I didn't
No.
even hear the word.
No,
Like,
it wasn't on the radar at all.
Yeah.
And I think, there are a lot of initiatives to try to get, just get people into schools to just talk to kids about what
Yeah.
it means to be a geologist. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a big thing. I think just incorporating a little bit of just earth science into, your high school curriculum.
Yeah.
I've got kids in high school now, and they're learning chemistry, and it's like, well, and they take a very sort of traditional chemistry
Right.
approach, but there's no reason why we can't,
Which
couple lectures
is
on,
not as transferable, really. Standard chemistry in high school is it's not as transferable as other ones.
but the basic principles are there. It's
Right.
just, it's just how you apply it and what does that mean for this or that. And I think giving people an awareness of, what does mining mean? What does it give you? How does it impact your everyday life?
Yeah.
And how do we get there? Like,
Yeah.
what's the science behind it? There's a lot there. It just, we don't do a good job at permeating that, from early stages.
Well, and the technology, people do not understand. Like Veracio, I mean, I saw it at the event. I saw the interest, and the assumption is, oh, well, this is a mining audience. We see stats. People are not just watching our show that are just mining. Obviously, that's the bulk of it.
Right.
But people are interested in interesting things.
Absolutely.
And I think so. I've been starting to beat this drum quite a bit, and I'm going to keep on doing it until somebody listens to me. I think mining needs to do a better job of showing the things that they do, like the Veracio, but to the public.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to really show the importance of them,
Right.
of how important they are, which is of course true.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. It's kind of like saying to people, "Well, housing is important." People go, "Okay, yeah, we know," but I still,
Right.
it doesn't really resonate, but things resonate with people. People find things interesting. And I just feel like in high school, if I had seen a Veracio, I would have been very interested if I had have been able to go out into the field, and instead and actually go see it work or something. I wouldn't have even thought about it. It would have been the first thing I would have signed
Yeah.
up for, and it might have even taken me in a different career path. But I'm just not seeing that happening, and I hope it does. That's my
Yeah,
spiel.
I think as an industry, we, any little initiative we can to just get people out there talking to
Yeah.
kids, and you often see when you go to PDC. I don't know if they do it round up here, if they're get
Yeah.
get school kids coming through
Yeah.
and talking to them about it. Every time there's a discussion about global warming, well, we can have a discussion about what do we need to help? How do we get past there? And what science can we use
Right.
that is applicable?
Yeah.
You know, we need to be mining a lot more for the battery, for the energy transition. How do we get there? What does that mean? If we can start talking about it more in terms of the practicalities and
Yeah.
and the science behind it, what does that really mean? How do we get there? What do we need? What are the ways that we can do it most efficiently?
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do, is the more efficiencies we can bring into the system, that is good for everybody.
I feel like the mining industry on a whole in the last few years has really taken, this is why I'm hoping now they take this out into general public more. There seems to be an excitement in the mining industry that I didn't see I would say even 5 years ago. I just didn't have that feeling of technology was like this thing everybody was kind of looking at.
Right.
Now there's an excitement and there's even a pride within the industry of like, look at what we're doing now. Is that just me doing the interviews and interviewing more people, or do you get a sense of that in the industry as well?
I think as a whole, yes. There's certainly still some pockets of resistance.
Yeah.
From
Well, you need those people too.
Yeah.
You always need the
Yeah.
person going,
Yeah.
oh, well,
Yeah,
I have one more
absolutely.
question.
Yeah, and that is all good, and that
Yeah.
that makes us all uh, sit up and
Yeah.
and make sure we're
Make our case stronger.
yes, absolutely. We need those people. It's there is. I've certainly seen I wasn't in on the ground level for hyperspectral scanning technologies, but pretty early on, and even that, I mean, just every time we turn around, there's somebody else entering the space. There's
Yeah.
there is an enormous amount of new technologies, available technologies, ways to use existing data that are coming through, and we are definitely on an uptake.
Yeah.
and it is exciting to be part of that.
Is there a lot that you're learning going to these events now, like the AMEs, as opposed to, let's say, like again, 5-10 years ago? Is it a shift in, not in what is being worked with, but just how it's being presented? Kind of like what you're saying, there's someone new always coming in now. Are you seeing everything's a little more streamlined, a little more user friendly, and in that sense also easier to adopt? Because you need the adoption for the technology to really take off.
Absolutely. What I'm seeing is much more of just a basic level of acceptance that, people aren't necessarily questioning the fundamental data. They're like, yes, you can use this to do that. I
Yes.
understand that. And then they're asking the next question. How do I make this work in my system? Or
Right.
what does this really mean? Does this give me X, Y, Z? So there's more of just a very basic level of acceptance of what we're doing, rather
Yeah.
than questioning every single piece of the puzzle.
In Veracio's case, though, it's a service. So
It's a service.
the company doesn't, they just have to onboard the service. They're not having to take this machine, bring it in, train their people. There's not this huge onboarding, right?
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
And most scanning services do operate like that.
Yeah.
The whether it's XRF scanning, whether it's hyperspectral scanning, there's now lib scanning systems out there. There's most of those are run as services, just because there's the instrumentation, but then there's the data interpretation, the data processing, and you really need to make sure that both those pieces of the puzzle are there.
Is this just to sort of wrap up? Is this technology, the hyperspectral technology? I still can't say it properly, but when it gets integrated into the system, will there be I think TruScan is already on 2.0, and and away we go. will it w- um, will it continue to evolve, or is it a system that is established enough that once it gets integrated, it's pretty well established, that setup? Or will it keep, like everything, just keep on sort of 2.0, 2.35?
It's probably depends who you ask
Yeah.
and what day you ask. Certainly, this is the next step. So, TruScan 2.0 is what we're sort of launching this year with the integration of the hyperspectral technology.
So that's what the 2.0 is.
That's what the 2.0
Oh, okay.
is.
All right.
Yes. Certainly, there's a lot of interest to integrate other pieces of technology.
Right. The
There's
trailer just keeps getting longer
and the
and
trailer
longer.
can get longer. Certainly, there's a lot of interest for sort of integrating something like a magsus meter. There are some sort of smaller additions that can be made. And we now have access to the Minilize and the Minilogger platforms as
We
well.
did an interview with them, yeah. as well.
Yeah, so they've sort of joined the family. So there's a lot of excitement in terms of what we can do with that.
Yeah, it's so much to cover. It's fun. Again, like I said, when we did the first interview and Michael couldn't even start the interview, and we had to herd people out of the booth so we could actually start to film. And I was like, oh, sorry, that's probably not what you want, to be pushing people, potential clients, out of your booth. But some products they're so clear in the market. The need is there. Just everything's in place. So it's pretty exciting. And I'm sure we'll be doing this interview again, for 3.0 and so on.
I hope so. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cari, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
I will let you get back to Amy.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, check out those other 2 episodes because this is really part of a series for Veracio, and the company is just doing some amazing stuff. Check out the interviews, or just go onto their YouTube and their website. We'll have links, of course, and they've got some great illustrations of how the programs work and how they deliver it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for all the support, and we will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.